So in this video we're going to be working on an iPad 6 2018, and the problem is the power button does not work. So in order to fix it, here's the part right there. In order to fix it we have to open it. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So first thing we need to do is we need to verify the fault. So and it's working now, so that's a surprise because I already took the liberty and here and made here an assistive touch so that I could put the iPad to sleep, but as you now see, the power button is working. So let's try to power it off, and that's a surprise. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on it just to clean the contacts. And the power button is working. So I guess there's no need for me to disassemble this iPad. Sometimes it can be really easy, but it wasn't working before I started shooting the video, so that's it, guys. I'm gonna try now to power it off on the camera and to power it on again. I have to wait a bit because the screen goes black, and you have to wait 3, 4, 5 seconds until the iPad really shuts down. And now it's off. So yeah, see, it's off. So now we press and hold the power button. It wasn't turning on. There's the Apple logo. So it's working now. So sometimes the repair can be really easy to do. It's working. Sleep, wake, sleep, wake. All good. Okay, that's a shame because I really wanted to show you how you disassemble the iPad 6. But it looks to me like this iPad has already been, okay, so now look, so now it's not working again. See? Ha! So I got it on the video as well. So what happens if I pour a little bit of isopropyl on it? And the power button is not working now. Not working now. See? Nothing happening. So let's proceed with the repair. I'm gonna disassemble this iPad, and I'm gonna put my heating pad to a moment. I'm gonna need 75 Celsius. That's 167 Fahrenheit. I'm gonna wait a bit. So I just poured isopropyl alcohol here, and I'm gonna use you can see it really well. I don't know if, no. It's really sharp, like a common, yeah, just a sharp blade. So what I'm now gonna do is I'm gonna start inserting this sharp blade. I'm gonna go like this, see, a couple of times. I'm gonna clean it a bit. I'm gonna go all over the sides. It looks to me like this iPad has already been disassembled. I don't know for which reason, because the battery life is like at 94%, so that's good. I don't think the battery has been changed recently. I do not know what type of work was done of this on this device. So I'm putting just a tiny coat, just a tiny bit of isopropyl alcohol, and I'm going by the edges. So I'm gonna start taking now my just a guitar pick, 0.46 millimeters, and I'm gonna insert the 4 guitar picks in the 4 edges. Let's slightly go slightly and really gently, because as the Jerry Rick says, glass is glass and glass can break. So you have to be really careful when you're attempting to do this type of work. We are getting closer to opening this iPad and prying the digitizer, the glass, away from the frame, from the aluminium frame. So what I now do is I take my cards. They are really thin. I inserted here by the edge where the guitar picks are, and I go and I pry all the way. You should be careful not to go too deep, because if you go too deep you will probably damage the LCD, which is behind the glass, behind the digitizer here. Be extremely careful when you are approaching the home button, because the home button is held here on these points, on the right and on the left of the home button. There's like a metal plate. I will show you this when I open the iPad. And as you approach the home button, you should really go 1 or 2 millimeters by the edge, because if you go a little bit deeper you could damage the home button flex, and this is a problem because you cannot replace it. You can put another home button, but the Touch ID will not work, because every iPad, or should I say every home button which has Touch ID is coded to this motherboard from this iPad, so you cannot just put another one and hope it will work, because the home button will work but the Touch ID will not. You have to be really careful around here, because here on the right side of the iPad, here on the lower part, there are flex cables that are connecting the home button and the digitizer to the motherboard. So you have to be really careful when you do this. So now I'm gonna put my mask on, which is pretty common these days, but in my case it's gonna help me not to put any saliva on the LCD, so as I speak. So as you can see, the digitizer is going up. And we are going to just continue to pry the glue. Carefully pry the glass like this, like a book, from left to right. Okay, so this is looking nice, it's looking good. So now I will shut off the heating pad because I do not want to expose the board to the heat. So that's the LCD. This is the digitizer. On the digitizer you have the home button. Try to show you guys. So this is the front camera right there, and this here is the home button. Okay, so the cables are going behind the LCD. So now we have 4 screws that we need to undo. I'm gonna do number 4. Now we did this, and now I'm gonna gently lift the LCD out of the casing. So I'm gonna go with like a spudger, like a plastic spudger underneath, and I'm gonna carefully pry it out. If you use too much force, the LCD will break. So it's kind of glued. It's screwed down, but it's also, it has a tiny bit of glue. You have to be really careful. So you lift it up like this, from the top up, but do not try to take it away, because yeah, this iPad has already been opened, and I do not know why. So now you cannot see anything actually, because the LCD is getting in the way, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna solve this. So here, one moment, there is the screw for the battery. So you have to disconnect the battery before doing any type of work, before removing the LCD, before removing the digitizer connectors, because if you do not unscrew the battery and if you do not disconnect it from the board, there is a high probability that it will, you removing something from the board will shorten it out. So you will have a short, and you will have a lot of unnecessary work to do, because that's just like it is. So I shaped this pick like this, so I can go underneath with it, underneath the battery connector. So now I can proceed with unscrewing. So we have 3 screws now. Okay, so try not to touch the LCD, because you will leave some marks, and always use gloves, because if you don't use gloves, you will really not be able to get rid of the smudges, the fingerprints. So this is the connector for the LCD. It lifts right up. You have to remove 1, 2, 3 screws, and you have to lift it up. So I'm gonna put this on the side. I'm gonna take my spudger. I'm gonna lift the cables. They go right up, as Jerry would say, like little Legos. So here we have a piece of tape on the connector for the home button. You have to remove it, and then you have to lift up this plastic piece in order to, like that, in order to be able to disconnect the flex cable from the home button. Okay, so that is out, and now you can safely remove the digitizer. Okay, good. Now the LCD and the digitizer are out, and now we can proceed with the replacement of the power button. So that's the power button right there. Yeah, so we have 2 screws here, and we have like 2 screws here for this plastic piece, and then we have this piece of tape that we need to remove in order to take this flex cable out, and then we are going to take the whole thing out, because this part, the power button and volume rocker flex, are the same part. So they are connected, and and they connect here together to the board. I hope you can see something, because I have to really put my head here in order to get to those screws. So the volume rockers, they are gonna go right in from the outside inwards like that. And now you can gently lift the flex cable, because flex cable is of course glued down, because this is an Apple device. So the power button flex, I do not know why my autofocus is not working. So this is the home button flex. So here the part is the home button, and these two things are the volume rockers. So we did that. So now I'm gonna put the iPad away for a sec and try not to break my microscope here. We take the new part. What we need to do is we need to transfer those volume rocker buttons onto the, and this plastic piece also, this plastic piece with the two holes. You have to like transfer it, because you do not get this with the new home button. So you have to put it in the correct rotation. Now we should be ready to put these things back where they belong. We should be good. Now we only put the plastic thing. It's really an important part, because you see on this side, I'm really sorry guys, you cannot see this because it's all blurry, but I hope you see here and here. You have the like metal, tiny metal plates, and when you press on the volume rocker buttons, they are making contact, and it's easier for the buttons to work like that. And as you can hear, the buttons are clicking. That's a good sign. So now, for the sake of video, I'm gonna put the digitizer and the LCD back, only to test it, and then I'm gonna reassemble the tablet. The battery is still not connected. It's a really important part. Now I got this screwed in. I'm gonna now remove the separator, and I'm gonna screw down the battery holder. This is only for test purpose, so I'm not gonna pay attention to all the dust and all the bits and pieces here that are flying. I'm just gonna close the digitizer so we can test if this power button will work now. Now I'm gonna close this, not all the way. I'm gonna shut this down so I can see the Apple logo like that, and it should go on. So it's not powering on. And that's bad, people. So we have a problem with the board, not with the flex cable as I originally thought. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to wake it up with the use of a charger. So I'm gonna plug it in, and it should power on. Yes, it's powering on. You see the Apple logo. Everything is good. So it's really a shame that the power button is not working, even though we changed the flex cable. Yeah. So the tablet, as you see, the tablet is working, and the touch is also, you can see, is also responsive. I can drag it all the way. That's good. The home button is good, but the power button will not work. I'm really sorry, guys, that didn't work out, but it's not really our fault. We have to look for a solution. It's really not clear why now the volume down button also doesn't work, so I have to maybe check the connection. Okay, so but you saw how to open an iPad 2018 without damaging it, because the home button is working properly, the digitizer is working, so there you have it. I'm gonna continue with this repair. So guys, this is a follow-up on the video, and yeah, as you can see, this is from the prior attempt repair. Some leftover things. So I recognize that this board was had been worked on. So as you can see, as I tried for the second time to remove the flex cable to see if I did something wrong, the whole thing just came out from the board with the connector and with the flex cable. So yeah, people, that's what happens if you do not know how to do a job, and this board was already out. So somebody before me took the board out from the iPad, and by doing so he probably did not remember to disassemble or to remove this tiny flex here for the volume rocker and the home button. So that was already half damaged, because as you saw, the iPad was powering on, and then it didn't want to power on, pressing the power button, and yeah, those are the symptoms of bad connection. And the bad connection, now we see that is not only bad, that is broken off. So I need to do a micro soldering repair, and yeah, that's not nice when something like this happens, but you know, that's life. So guys, as I started shooting this video in the first place, I was thinking, well, I'm gonna make this video, and it is gonna be a simple repair, but it turned out to be a fairly complicated one, because let me show you, I have one more iPad 6 that has been dropped, I think, in the salty water, because everything is, as you can see, everything is has oxidized. Okay, so on this board I'm going to show you what was the problem. So you see how the volume button rockers and the home button, they are connected with this flex cable that is going here. Okay, it connects here with the board. So there is a connector there, and as I tried once more to disassemble it on this iPad, because if you remember, the power button was not working at all after I did the initial repair. So I had to open it once more to see what's going on. So I found out that this flex cable connector was ripped out from the board, and it was not me. It was done before me. Somebody took the board out to do some other repair probably, and ended up damaging the flex cable connector. So with that said, the flex cable connector on this iPad was out, so I had to do a micro soldering job, and it went good. It went good. Now I have cleaned up and closed the iPad, so now it's on. So if you now see the power button is working. Yeah. What is not working is the volume down button, and I cannot make out why, because if you go up, it will go up, but if you try to go down, it clicks, but nothing happens. I think there is something wrong with the board itself, other than the connector that I soldered on. I soldered on properly, and I think it may have to do something with the board itself, with the controller for that volume down component that controls the volume down button, but I do not have the part to do this job. And yeah, guys, so it was a successful repair. Now you can power on the tablet on using power button, and that's good. And the volume down, well, you know, you really don't need it that much, because you can do it right here. And let me just, this assistive touch we don't need anymore. So here, yeah, you can do it like this, and actually it's a lot quicker than grabbing the you know, the volume rocker button. So I'm happy that this power button is working now, so you don't have to mess with the assistive touch, because assistive touch, I think, is a lot worse to use assistive touch than to not have a volume down button working. So I think it's overall a successful repair. So guys, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and yeah, there will be next videos coming up. Bye bye, take care.